Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizzano, and you are listening to the world famous University Love, the best podcast in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. The best podcast in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wherever you receive your streaming, your podcast platform is at. We are the best. Okay, we'll take on anybody. We'll tackle Joe Rogan. We'll tackle Club Shay Shay. We can outdo anybody. Okay. And but you and I, we just call this show Online Marketing Moves. Always punch up people. And we are coming to you live today. Today is May the 24th, 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, right now, you are listening to this show. You could be listening to this show May 24th, 2024. You could be listening to this show May 25th, 2025. Well, if you are listening to it May 25th, 2025, I could still be I might be back in Missouri by that time. It depends on the calendar, okay? But I am here. I am here in the greatest state of the union. I am here in Missouri. Me and my daughter, we have come up here to 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 grace everybody with our presence and to make the family reunion jump. I brought the happiest 2-year-old in the world, happy when she's getting her way. My lovely daughter, she is quite a treat. We are going. The plan is for us to drive at night. Last year, me and her, we drove at night. My daughter, she slept. She slept for like 2 hours, 3 hours. Then she woke up and she said the famous words we like to say to each other: "What's up, boo?" And then little boo decided she's gonna stay up for the next 3 hours, singing, talking, doing whatever in the back seat. I thought this is bananas. But the best part of the trip was me and my daughter. We got up to Missouri at 3 o'clock in the morning last year, and I told my parents, I said, just leave a key in the mailbox, and they said okay. But of course, I knew better than that. We pull up to the house and the lights on. They come outside and they're like, "Hey!" And my daughter's like, "Ah!" And at 3 o'clock in the morning, these people, these three, the grandparents, the daughter, they decided they're gonna have a good old time at 3 o'clock in the morning. They dancing, she clapping. They like, "Yeah!" And I'm thinking, "Are you kidding me?" And finally, I said, "Hey, I'm going to bed. She's going to bed. Why don't we all go to bed?" But it's always nice whenever I get. It's always nice whenever my daughter interacts with her grandparents. Now she's gonna miss her nana, of course. Her nana's up there in heaven, and that part is But we always have pictures. We always have memories, and so once again, as I probably told you before, always hug your loved ones a little tight when you see them, because you never know. You never know when it's going to be the last time you see somebody. You never quite know. I remember my cousin. Speaking of family reunions, my cousin. It was 2019. We hung out all day at the family reunion. And it's so crazy that that's the last time I saw him. The next year, right during like around April, COVID, he was gone. So always hug your loved ones a little tight when you see them, because you never know. You never know. But I'm not here to depress you. Listen, people, people transition, people die. But the one thing that you always have to remember, if you treat somebody great, if you treat somebody wonderful, if you have a nice time with them, whenever you see them, you keep in contact with them, you never have to feel bad. You never have to feel like, oh man, if I would just call them more often. See, that's when you get the feeling kind of like, oh man, maybe I should have called more. Not call people more, you know. I have this conversation with my brother once a year because my brother doesn't call. It is what it is. And then, whenever I see him, he's like, "Arr." I'm like, I don't live down the street. You can call every now and then because I always tell him, don't be one of those people. If something happens to me, you boo-hooing and falling all out and all that type of stuff. When I call you, you don't answer the phone. So don't be like that. But anyway, ladies and gents, how do we get down this road? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to talk straight business. We're going to talk about business and we are going to talk about going up the hill, climbing up the hill, climbing up the hill, climbing up the hill. This is more of a Friday motivational talk, okay? Um, Somebody cut this out and send this to uh, anybody looking for a motivational speaker. Here I am, okay? But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you start a business, you start a service, you start whatever, and there's gonna be a point where you're going. There's gonna be a point where of course, you start off with a lot of enthusiasm. It's just like being in a relationship. The relationship when you first meet somebody is the greatest. It is the greatest time. You're like, I'm so in love. And just like this business, you want to start a business, whatever business, does not matter. You want to create something, does not matter. You always start off with a lot of enthusiasm, with a lot of hip hip hooray, hip hip hooray. Everybody does it. Everybody. You start off, guns are blazing. You start off that way. You are excited. You're ready to go. You're ready to go. And then at some point, ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna hit that wall. And you're gonna wake up and you're gonna say, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of them. I'm sick of the customers. I'm sick of people. I'm sick of vendors. I'm sick of everybody. There'll be a point where you're going to get there. Ladies and gentlemen, when you get there, sit back, take a deep breath, and think to yourself, why did you start down this road in the first place? I will give you a great example. When I started this podcast, I remember it was guns a blazing. The first 100 days, ladies and gentlemen, I was recording episode after episode. I was going, I was going, I was going, I was going. Um, I had a lot of enthusiasm. 3 or 4 months, I'm just pumping them out. You know, episode after episode. Hey, whoa, 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 whoa. My hair was on fire. I'm on fire. But at some point, there was like 6 months, and we all know when you first start, you start something. Most of the time, things start off slow, it's just natural. Walmart. When Sam Walton, when he broke out Walmart, there wasn't a million people line up at the door. There were some customers, but it wasn't as jam packed as it is now, and that's just natural. And so, at some point, the viewership was low, and I've been doing it for 6 months, and I thought to myself, for what? Why? What am I doing? This was a dumb idea. Blah 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 blah. Had all these thoughts, had all this nonsense, and I said, I gotta take a day off. And I remember, and I spent the day driving, and then I thought to myself, like why this? Why decide to do a podcast? Why talk about marketing? Why try to put myself out there? Why? It was a lot of whys, when I was, just driving and thinking to myself. And then I thought, why not? Like, why not create something that is for me? Why not create um, content that I enjoy and that I think people want to hear. And I remember around that time, I had wrote this article about uh, I think pyramid schemes or something like that on this website called Medium, and I wrote this article, and then this guy he saw the article, he contacted me, and he put, "Hey man, that's a great article, and I love listening to your podcast," you know, and I remember I was like, "Whoa," and I was like, "Oh, this guy listens to the show," and you know, it got me excited, and I said, "This is why I'm doing it," because whenever whenever you are doing something, whether it be, it doesn't matter. Whenever you are doing something, you, you're not looking for, well, you should not be looking for instant gratification. So whenever I record this episode, whenever I record an episode, I'm not waiting, I'm not looking right at you saying, "So what do you think?" No. I know that back then, you know, and even now, I'm going to record an episode. There's going to be a few downloads, during the first couple of days. And I know that eventually it picks up steam. And so, there's no instant gratification. There's no, a million people downloaded it in 2 minutes and they're like, "Oh, this is the greatest thing ever." No, I know there's gonna be a slow drip, and that's fine. But what I enjoy the most was like when the guy wrote me. He said, "Man, I love the podcast. Keep keep going. Keep it up." And I thought, amazing. This is what I needed, and it was like kind of like a sign. Sometimes you feel a certain way, and you think, "I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know." you know, and then somebody says, "Hey man, it's great. It's wonderful." You're like, "Really? You think so?" You're like, "You know what? I might as well keep it pushing. I might as well keep it going." Like I greatly appreciate that. I appreciate you. I appreciate the comments, the words, and so it helped me in my time of like, man, I don't know. There's not a lot going on. Excuse me. There's not a lot going on. What is the point? Where is this going? And you sometimes you reach a plateau, and you're just like, for what? And then you have to sit back and you have to snap out of it, and you say, all right, let's keep going. The worst thing that you can do in life is to get comfortable. Okay, and I could tell you from firsthand experience. Um, I remember when I first started driving, I hated it. I absolutely hated truck driving. I did not like it. I said, "This sucks. This is this is crap. This is trash." I just thought to myself, "God, It's got to be something better than this." Okay, I hated it with a passion to the point where anytime, and I lived in Missouri at the time, anytime I would get a break, I would work for like 3 or 4 weeks. I lived in Kansas City, Kansas, right outside of there, for like the first couple months of driving. And I remember I would I would get like a few days off, and I would go back to down here in Missouri to where my parents live. And so I would go back, and I would just go to every place looking for a job right there, and I just wanted to come home. I just wanted to go home. I just was like, this sucks. This is bad. This it's just This blows. Whatever negative connotation you want to use, you want to say. I said it, and I just went around every time, looking for a job. You know, and they would say, yeah, you need more experience, blah 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 blah, and it got to the point where it got to be. I just wanted to yell and scream like, "Come on, man! I just don't want to do this." And at some point over the first couple of years, of me driving, I got to a point where it's like, all right, this is my destiny. It is what it is. I signed up for this. There's no. It doesn't seem like there's an alternative. You know, what else am I gonna do? And so, you know, we went down the road of comfortability and sort of accepted, that all right, I'm gonna be driving for the rest of my natural born days. You know, it's a funny it's a funny thing living in the world of comfortability. It's not a good thing. It's not the greatest thing you can do. But I was there for a couple of years, And then at some point I remember I thought to myself, man, I can't go out like this now. Because me myself, I've always I've never wanted to. I can't imagine for me. There's a lot of people, and if you're one of them, God bless you. But for me, the only thing I want to do that is the same on a regular basis is see my wife, see my daughter, be with my wife, be with my daughter. You know, I enjoy the people I'm related to. I love the family that I was born into, and now I love the family that I have gained along the way, like my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my nephew. My wife's her best friends, their family, not friends, their family. Like that is what I like to see on the. That's the only thing that I don't want to change, my family. But as far as work and doing the same thing over and over, going to the same job, doing the same thing, seeing those same people that you work with every day, I've never wanted to do that. And it's not in me. You know, I worked at a prison. I remember this. I worked at a prison. And, I was like, the moment I started to get comfortable, like, hey man, this I might be here a while. I remember something happened, and then I was like, "Oh, time to go." It was just like little things like that. I've never, you know, even when I was in the Navy, I was like, "All right, I've done my time. That's it." They're like, re-enlist. You can sign back up. We can send you back here. Do this. And I thought, I can't see myself coming back here. I can't see myself living on a boat another 4 years, 5, 6 years. I thought by the time I get, it'll be 10 years of doing this. Nah, it's not for me. And so whenever I decided that the truck driving was not gonna be the end all be all, I said, all right, what's next? Let's go. And then for me, and I'm just giving you a perspective of me. And for me, I said, okay, I want to I want to be rich. I want to make money, but I want to make money how I want to make money, and I want to be able to say, because, I want to be able to look at myself and say, I am creating the opportunity for myself. It wasn't about, because we all know no job is going to make you a millionaire. Most of them anyway. Not the jobs I had. I'm in the blue collar world. Okay, you're not gonna be a millionaire. You know, driving 18 wheelers. You're not gonna be a millionaire driving a forklift. and that's okay. And you know that when you sign up for the blue collar life, okay? You already you see it. But for me, I said, all right, it is time for me to create. It is time for me to come up with ideas and things to make my own money. And it gave me, you go up and you're like, all right, now it gives you a new energy. It gives you a new, a breath of fresh air. And you're like, all right, let's go. Let's figure this out and let's do this. And so for you, whenever you feel like you are comfortable. And whenever you feel like, oh, this is it, that's when it's time for you to say, that is time for you to double down and go, nope, this is not it. Kick out, figure it out, and go and keep going up because you will get more. Whenever you start doing something, you would get more enthusiasm. You would get more, you would get more, you would get more clarity. When you really want to when you really want to get down that road, I'm telling you, things start working in your favor, and you're like, "Hey, man, I don't know what's happening, but I like it." You know, these last these last couple of weeks, I've recorded 700 and something episodes of this show, and in the last week, last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of activity when it comes to the downloads from not from the newer episodes. Yes, we get downloads from the newer episodes, but people are downloading episodes from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and it's like, all right, this, all this, all this hard work is paying off, okay, and it's not it's not always instant gratification. Sometimes you're gonna see it eventually. It's like an investment. You invest time into doing things. You invest your time. You invest your sweat. You invest some income into it, and eventually it will grow. It will blossom, and you will get the results you were looking for. But there's gonna come a point where you're like, I don't know. I don't know if this is it. I don't know if this is for me. You're gonna get mad. You're gonna be frustrated. You're gonna be annoyed. You're gonna be like, I hate this. I don't like this. I want to get out of this. Don't do that. Be always looking forward. Be always, you stay in the present moment, but always think about what else you can add on to the things that you are doing. Always be looking. Always be looking. Always be looking. Always be thinking. Always be thinking about what can I do to add to XYZ? What can I do to make more money? What can I do? Com- the more comfortable you get, the worse off you will be. Okay, you do not want to get comfortable. It's like when they tell you when you get in a relationship. I love my wife. Me and my wife, we've been married for 7 years. There's always something new that you can do to impress somebody that you are with. My parents, they have been married for 40, it'll be, this year will be 45 years. This year will be 45 years. And my parents, they watch TV, they still enjoy each other's company. My dad, he he walks around the house, he talks, you know, he does little dances, little nonsense like that. It makes my mom laugh, and my mom, she'll be on the phone giggling sometimes, and I'm just like, you shake your head because it's your parents, but at the same time you're happy to see that. You're happy to see, like, all right, just because we're married. And you think, and a lot of people go wrong with this when it comes to relationships. You get married and you think that's the highlight, but no, that's just the beginning. And me and my wife, after we had the baby, you fall in love even more because it's like, wow, you bring in you 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 create life, and you see this little baby, and now you see the growth of this baby. And I tell my wife, I say, we got to hang on to each other because eventually the child is going to become an adult, and she's gonna walk off, and it's still gonna be me and my wife in the house. So I always tell my wife, let's not get comfortable, and let's not, of course we focus on the child, but let's also make sure that me and you are keeping in touch, and me and you are constantly dating, and we don't get comfortable, in that. Oh, we're married, and and our lives is around this child, because this child she's gonna go from she's gonna grow from a young girl to a little woman, a young woman, and then she's gonna be, you know, by the time she leaves the house, she's gonna be 35, 40, and when she leaves, it's gonna be like, all right, so me and you. I mean, she might leave before that, but she can stay as long as she wants. But anyway, you just, if when you feel the comfortability, when it comes to, you know, creating content or doing a service, your website, whenever you feel comfortable, you go, all right, what can we do to shake this up? What can we do to go up the hill some more, And whenever you feel like you're stuck, go back, sit down, think, like, what why am I doing this, And you have plenty of reasons why you're doing it. So don't be afraid to make a move. Don't be afraid don't be afraid to change it up. Don't be afraid to switch it up. If something's not right for you, that's okay as well. You try it, you're like, this ain't working for me. And you could always come back, or you could just leave it alone. As I told you before, I remember at first I said I'm gonna do YouTube videos, and it was hard to do them in a truck. But now, less less living in the truck, we have more time to do videos, so that's what we're gonna do, and make things happen. But ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't fall into the world of comfortability, and we will be back tomorrow with an all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. If you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast. If you're on Spotify, go to Spotify, give us a follow. We need more followers on Spotify. Also, go to the YouTube channel, subscribe. We got it. We got to get to 100 before July the 1st. Okay. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Enjoy your weekend. We'll drop a bonus episode sometime this weekend, but we will definitely be back on Monday with the all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Rizzano. Thank you for listening, and as always, God bless and peace.